All right, let's dive into a huge topic in the crypto world. How do you actually mine Bitcoin? We're going to break down the gear, the strategies, and the real world costs that can make or break you. Let's get right into it. It's a pretty wild idea, isn't it? The dream of just firing up a machine in your house and literally creating value out of thin air. But is it really that easy? Can you just print digital gold? Well, that's the big question we're digging into, and trust me, the answer is way more fascinating than you might think. So, first things first, we've got to get on the same page about what mining even means. I know it brings up these images of like pickaxes and gold rushes, but in the digital world, the whole game is completely different. Okay, let's just bust a huge myth right out of the gate. You've probably heard that Bitcoin miners are solving these super complex math problems. That's not really true. It's less about being a math genius and a whole lot more like playing a global high-speed lottery. Miners are all just guessing a number over and over and over, billions of times a second. In this giant lottery system, it has a name, proof of work. You can think of that as the engine that makes Bitcoin run. See, by competing to be the first one to find that winning number, that hash, miners are doing two absolutely critical things. First, they're verifying all the latest transactions, which is what keeps the whole network secure. And second, the winner gets rewarded with brand new Bitcoin. That right there is how new coins are created. So just how hard is it to win this lottery? Well, on average, the entire Bitcoin network makes about 464 sectillion guesses just to find one winning hash. Just let that number sink in. That is a 464 with 21 zeros after it. It's a number so big, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. And it's that insane difficulty that makes the network so secure and, well, requires some seriously powerful gear. Which brings us right to the armory. Because if you're going to compete in this global race, you need the right tools for the job. And sorry to say, your old laptop just is not going to cut it. This is where you have to make your first really big decision. You've basically got two main choices, ASICs or GPUs. An ASIC, think of it like a Formula One race car. It's built to do one thing and one thing only, mine Bitcoin. And it does it with absolutely mind-blowing speed and efficiency. But that's it. It can't do anything else. A GPU, on the other hand, is more like a souped-up rally car. It's super versatile, it can mine a bunch of different coins, and you could even sell it to a gamer when you're done. But for Bitcoin specifically, yeah, ASICs are the undisputed kings of the mountain. And when I say kings, I'm not kidding. Just take a look at these specs. It's the scale of these things that's just wild. The top dog here, this Antminer, costs over 17 grand and sucks down over 11,000 watts of power. To put that in perspective, that's more than 5 times the power an average US home uses. This isn't a hobbyist gadget, this is serious industrial-level hardware. And to handle all that insane power, modern miners have gotten incredibly sophisticated. I mean, we are talking about advanced liquid cooling systems, the kind of stuff you'd see in a supercomputer. It's the only way to keep these chips from literally melting while they're running 24/7. It just goes to show how far this technology has come. Okay, so you've got your high-tech gear. Now you need a plan of attack. You can't just plug it in and hope for the best. You've got to decide how you're going to compete. And your strategy here is every bit as important as the hardware you choose. You've really got 3 ways to play the game. You can go solo, just you and your machine against the world. If you hit that winning hash, you keep the entire reward, which right now is 3.125 Bitcoin. The catch? The odds are astronomical, but the payout is huge. Or you can join a mining pool. This is where you combine your computing power with thousands of other miners. Your chances of winning something are way, way higher, and you get a small, steady piece of the pie. And finally, there's cloud mining, where you basically just rent somebody else's hardware. I absolutely love this analogy I found from a user on Reddit because it just perfectly explains pool mining. It's exactly like an office lottery pool. Instead of buying one lottery ticket and praying for a miracle, you're all chipping in together to buy thousands of tickets. It just massively increases your odds of winning something, even if it's a smaller share of the jackpot. So at the end of the day, that's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you the type to go for that 1 in a billion solo jackpot? Or do you prefer the slow, steady, much more predictable income from being in a pool? It all comes down to your appetite for risk. And now we've got to talk about the most important part of this whole thing, the reality check. Winning this race isn't free.
Not even close. Bitcoin mining is a business, and if you don't calculate the true cost, you can lose a whole lot of money real fast.
You know, industry experts say that people fall into the same traps over and over again. It all starts with not really understanding the true costs. From there, it's easy to buy the wrong gear, team up with a bad partner, not diversify, and worst of all, just get way too optimistic about how much money you're going to make. Every single one of these is a landmine, so you have to go into this with your eyes wide open. When you actually look at where the money goes, the numbers are pretty sobering. The hardware itself is a huge upfront expense, sure, about 40%. But the silent killer, the one thing that's your biggest ongoing cost by a mile, is electricity. It can make up a massive 45% of your total costs. Your power bill can absolutely make or break your entire mining operation. And to really put that electricity use in perspective, this is just stunning. The entire Bitcoin network, all those miners across the globe, now uses as much electricity every year as the entire country of Thailand. We're talking about a nation of over 70 million people. The amount of energy involved is just immense. And this is what that kind of energy consumption looks like in the real world. This is not some hobby in a person's garage anymore. Professional Bitcoin mining is a full-blown industrial operation, with these enormous data centers housing thousands and thousands of machines, all competing in that global lottery 24/7. So, with these insane costs and this fierce competition, you gotta wonder, where is all of this headed? Let's take a look at what's on the horizon, at the trends that are really shaping the future of mining. The whole landscape is changing, and it's being pushed by three big forces. First is sustainability. To fight those crazy electricity bills, more than half of all miners have already moved to cheaper, renewable energy sources. Second is innovation. The hardware arms race is always on, with new, more efficient chips that can squeeze out more guesses for every watt of power. And finally, you have regulation. As the industry gets bigger, governments are stepping in to create actual legal frameworks, which could bring a lot more stability to the whole scene. So there you have it. We've gone through the what, the how, and the how much. We've seen how Bitcoin mining has grown up from a hobby into this incredibly competitive industrial-scale industry. So the only question left is the one you've got to answer for yourself. Now that you really know what it takes, is the reward worth the risk? Thanks for watching.